this personality of making it real. So and again, it's number one, it's attunement with the boy, attunement with the situation, and then seeing what that boy needs, seeing what the situation needs. And the more real it's coming from us, generally speaking, it will go in. Again, we're all wired for connection. So when we are being genuine, when we're being real and we're giving that compliment, and for some reason it's not going in or it's being blocked, so that's gold. That's saying like, what's going on over here? This is where, there seems to be a piece that needs to be explored, whether in therapy, whether with you and him, of saying like, there's a block of this natural want or need to, be seen and get complimented. And there's probably something going on there for the boy who it's too much for, assuming that all the other pieces are being done in the right way.
I found no one ever died from an overdose of a real compliment.
Yeah, but it might take away the genuine.
If it's a real thing, if it's something, it's a real thing that you really saw in the guy, it's because emes, we'll go for it. If it's emes, we'll go for it.
Right.
And again, just to bring out compliments, again, are only one way of doing this, right? There's a plethora of ways of, for people to be seen. Compliments is one way. Giving a good morning to, just showing interested and empathy, and the way you're talking to the Talmud, that could be workshops in and of itself of how to attune to the Talmud, how to, validate and reflect and, in the conversation. So I would say, and if it's certain Talmud, if, compliments don't work for him, we'll find something else, right? Let's try to think about a different way of how I'm going to connect to that boy. Whether it's, through, you probably have many more, ideas for that as well, but it doesn't, if compliments aren't working with that specific kid, there are many other things that could be working for him in terms of just attunement and connection and being seen and known and recognized and, feeling good in life. So I would say everybody wants to feel seen and recognized. It may not be through compliments. It may have to be through a different channel of exploration as well.
Amazing.
Can
I ask a question touching on that point? For somebody who has been burnt in the past with their relationship with their parents or others, and they feel uncomfortable with those compliments, like you're saying, you have that often in some of the yeshivas, boys who are coming from different backgrounds, so they feel very uncomfortable getting that compliment because it's just like they're not used to it. So would you suggest, like, how would you go about that? Because on one hand, you want to have that warm relationship with them. On the other hand, you don't want to be pushing them away and making them uncomfortable. Would you open up a conversation with them about how it makes them feel when you compliment them or something along those lines? Would you have that conversation personally? Would you rather have them speak to somebody else? Or, some boys don't want to necessarily feel like they need therapy. They want to feel like they're normal people. They don't want to go to a therapist. So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, great question. What I'm hearing is, the Talmud doesn't trust, right? He comes from a certain background where there's this trust issue going on. And number one is, again, it's all about relationships starting slowly. So you're building rapport, you're building relationship. And with some people, it can't be, totally 100% right away in terms of, the amount in which you're going to be going into his space, I would say in that way. So it's finding that attunement, find that right piece in terms of slowly but surely connecting to him first, building a relationship with him first. And generally, once that piece comes in, you'll slowly be able to sprinkle in probably compliments. He'll probably want it a bit more, as long as it's done. Again, a big thing with trauma, because we're talking about trauma, even with therapy, it's not like trauma therapy takes a long time, right? When couples come in with trauma, it'll probably take years as opposed to, maybe months. So when we're dealing with trauma, which what I'm hearing you talking about is, yes, so their reactions to what we're bringing to the table will be a little bit different. And so it's the slowness, which is probably, it's that slow piece, going slow, finding that attunement, finding your with him. And, as you bring up these things, if you're noticing there's a bit of hesitation, it may depend on your relationship with him. Sometimes it may, be kedai to open it up and be like, would you rather me, say X, Y, and Z? Does that not feel great for you? So what else would be more helpful for you? And just trying to, again, we don't want to be doing therapy, but we want to be able to have a real conversation. It doesn't mean sending them to therapy. It's finding what that Talmud needs right now. And once you're working with that, slowly but surely, something called the window of tolerance that we use in, psychobabble. In terms of, in trust, their window of tolerance will be this much. through having loving, caring relationships, it'll open up more, it'll open up more, it'll open up more. So let's say people have a certain window of tolerance for their emotions this much, and they can't take in the compliments, or they can't take, the loneliness. And we're slowly through these we're slowly building that window of tolerance a bit more and a bit more. And the more that relationship will build, probably the more the Talmud will be able to take in with you. But it could be, and if you're noticing certain things, not landing on him, just in the beginning, and then if it becomes a pattern, you have that connection, just start slowly and see where that goes, and then taking it from there.